Hello, welcome back to the channel and welcome in the all-new 2024 4th generation Suzuki Swift. Now the Swift is one of the more important cars for Suzuki. It has become a bit of a legend during the 20 years that this car has been on the market. They sell this car in 169 markets all around the world, which are a lot of countries considering the fact there are only 196 countries in the whole world. So if you're not able to get your hands on a Suzuki Swift, you probably live in a pretty remote place. Now in this video I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about this new generation Suzuki Swift. I'm going to show you the interior, I'm going to show you the exterior, and we're going to take the car out for a drive. So here it is, the all-new generation Swift. This is still one of the more affordable cars in its segment. In most countries this car is cheaper than a VW Polo or an Opel Corsa or a Peugeot 208. There are cars that are cheaper, for example a Dacia Sandero, but most people that opt to buy a Suzuki Swift or a Polo or a Corsa are usually not looking for a Dacia Sandero anyways. Now a lot of components on this car are brand new, this obviously being a brand new generation. However, there's still a lot of components that have been brought over from the outgoing models. For example, the entire platform is pretty much identical to the platform on the outgoing model. They have refined the platform a little bit, so you get some new motor mounts that dampen the vibrations a little bit more from the petrol engine. And there's also a lot more sound dampening going on in this car, making the car a lot quieter on the inside. Because the outgoing model was pretty noisy, but you can really tell the difference with this new generation. It is a lot more quiet here in the cabin. The exterior design obviously is completely new. However, even the exterior design still doesn't look that different compared to the outgoing model. And the car actually looks a little bit less aggressive than the outgoing model. You now get a completely different hood. It's like a clamshell design, so the hood is not really integrated in the body of the car, but it is more on top of the body, so to speak. But the headlights are a little bit more aggressive and you get LED headlights now as standard. And the grille actually has become a little bit smaller, which you don't see that often nowadays. Grills usually tend to get a lot bigger nowadays, but it has shrunken a little bit. And the number plate is located a little bit lower in the grille compared to the outgoing model. Now at the back of the car, the tail lights also look a little bit less aggressive compared to the outgoing model. On the outgoing model, they had a bit of a round shape going around the car, but now the shape of the tail lights is a little bit more simplistic, a little bit bland if I'm honest. You can get 9 colors for the new Swift, and I believe the base color is orange, a pretty funky color that I actually really like. And you can get wheels up from 15 to 16 inch. The car I'm driving right now has the 16 inch wheels. Trunk capacity is identical to the outgoing model, so you still get 265 liters of trunk capacity, which is fine and average for a car in this segment. And if you fold down the back seats, you get 590 liters, which is actually 10 liters less than in the outgoing model. Now the backseat area is still pretty cramped, which is also pretty average in a segment like this. You cannot get USB ports in the backseat area, which is a bit of a letdown because I can imagine a lot of people want to carry their kids around in a car like this. Now this being a new generation, you also get a new dashboard here. You get this new 9-inch infotainment system. It's not the fastest system out there, again, pretty average in this segment, but it is very easy to use. And you can use Apple CarPlay and Android Auto here wirelessly. Now you cannot get a digital gauge cluster in front of you, which is a bit of a letdown because even in this segment nowadays, you can get a digital gauge cluster in most models. You do get a smaller like LCD screen, and next to it there are 2 old school analog meters, which I personally don't really mind. I really like this old school setup, but I can imagine that some customers would prefer a digital gauge cluster because then you can also see the navigation map in front of you and stuff like that. Now because the car still has the same platform as the outgoing model, the car still basically drives like the outgoing model. And that's a good thing because the Swift always has been a very nice car to drive. If you really care about a good handling car that you actually can have a bit of fun with, the Suzuki Swift should be higher on your list. The car basically feels like a Ford Fiesta and a Mini Cooper. It's small, it's nimble, it's very light, it weighs less than a ton, and you can really notice when you're chucking this car into a bend. You can really have some fun with the Swift. The only downside is the fact that you can only have this 1.2 mild hybrid powertrain that only produces 84 horsepower and 112 newton-meters of torque, which is adequate and enough for a car like this for day-to-day business. However, it's not the fastest car out there. It will do 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 12.5 seconds, and the top speed is 165 kilometers an hour. Having said that, 84 horsepower, or actually it's 83 horsepower, is enough in a car like this. Having said that, I'm still hoping that Suzuki will introduce a sport version of the Swift. And the car I'm driving right now is the style version. This is the top of the line version with all the bells and whistles. So for example, I got even heated seats on this car. And the base level version is the comfort version, and there's also a version in between. Now the version I'm driving right now also has the 5-speed manual, but you can also get a CVT transmission. So that's it for this video. If you liked it, give it a big thumbs up, and if you want to see more videos like this in the future, hit that subscribe button, and then I'll see you in the next video.